face and I can't fuck with snakes. I ain't all the way back from my people, I pray I won't fortune for fame. I'm finna turn up and get they ass a taste. I thought I was global, they screaming my name. I'm everywhere like I'm the Chicago way.
Alright, let us know who got on the Chicago way today.
Man, y'all know what the fuck going on, man. Real 30 boys, man. It's your boy Brick Youngsta, man. Free 2G, man. Free Foodie, man. Free Joe Bomb, man. You know what the fuck going on, man. Dunk to get dunked on, man.
Alright, so we got Brick Youngsta today. Can you tell us where you from?
I'm from Chicago, man. I'm from low end, south side.
Alright,
but I moved up to Tupperville, so you know that's the hood too.
Alright, what part exactly in the low end?
I'm from Lake Park. I'm from 39th and Lake Park, 4048.
39th and Lake Park? Alright, I'm gonna hold you. Lil Reese helped me do some research. He said that like TTB Nez is from that same area,
he
right?
from my hood, yeah.
Lake Park, so you know Nez?
Yeah, I know Nez. That ain't my homie,
right.
but like that's one of the niggas from the hood, you know.
Alright, so like you basically saw him around type shit?
Yeah, I done saw him around from coming up. So you know he a little bit older than me. He ran out of like niggas like Mom Pop and all that type of shit, but yeah.
Makes sense. So how was it growing up there?
Same old. It was decent, you know, before the wars kicked off and shit, because we got our own war going on from where I'm from too, besides the shit we already had going on with bro them on 63rd and shit, but it was always decent, you know, we had our own park built inside the hood and shit. Before shit got real, we had our own basketball court in our hood, so we ain't had to do shit but leave out the building. And from my grandma building, my granny stayed across the street from the park, but all I had to do was leave out the building and literally walk right across the street to do everything and shit. Everything was on our block and shit. My whole family was from over there, and everybody I knew kicked it over there to the low end where everybody I fucked with from. So it was like,
makes sense.
We had a good childhood. It was pretty fun for me.
So it sounded like it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun for sure.
Alright, so how'd you get into rapping after that?
Okay. Really watching a lot of battle rap, sitting in the car listening to a lot of music and shit like that. And one day me and my brothers, we would just listen to music and we'd just go back and forth and compare motherfuckers' bars and metaphors. And I just told myself, like, man, if I can understand his bars and metaphors and shit, why can't I put this shit together myself? And then I had a lot of shit that I was going through, like the shit they talking about shit. I'm experiencing this shit firsthand type shit. So I'm like, fuck it, let me try to do it. So I just started off playing with it. Like me and my little cousin Tank and my little brother TB, we'd sit around and just fuck around, freestyle, rap. We'd come up with our little favorite battle rappers and shit. And I listen to a lot of Reed Dollars. I ain't gonna lie, Reed Dollars. I listened to a lot of Reed Dollars and shit when him and Meek was going at it. So that shit kind of kept me going. Then me and my brothers and cousins, we'd be in the crib, we'd be tweaking around, recording ourselves and shit.
Yeah.
And I just got better and better. But I ain't really take that shit serious until I got like, I want to say 14, 15, when I was staying in the suburbs and shit. And my little brother he did, and along with my little brother D-Man and my brother Rico, they was already tweaking with the music and shit. My homie Rico was already into beats, he knew how to record, do everything. He already knew everything about the music shit. I just knew how to rap and shit.
Okay.
So they kept telling me like, man, just go and do that shit, cause we a freestyle. And like, man, you know how to put them words together quick as hell. So then one day we just recorded the song, we ain't never dropped it though, we recorded. And I'm like, fuck it, and since that day I just started taking that shit serious.
So like what made you take it seriously?
Like 100% at the level I'm at now would be when my brother Brick died. Like before he died, I was like recording, dropping slight shit. But when my brother died, I felt like his career and his talent was took from him because my brother had been in the streets his whole life.
Yeah.
And then he just came home from doing 4.5 years. He was only out 11 months before he got killed. And his music was slowly progressing. So it was like, fuck it, I really took it serious. And I had a lot of pain inside, so I didn't know how to express that shit. Like, yeah, you gonna go outside, you gonna do what you do, but that shit still be inside you at the end of the day. So like, I didn't know how to get that shit up out of me, so I just started taking that, I just took that shit serious. I'm like, fuck it, man, there ain't no time to be playing around. I felt like, when I seen him die, like, I always knew a motherfucker would die, but like, it be different, like, when this motherfucker you done slept in the same bed with and shit like that, and it's a nigga you look up to, like, this your protector, this your big brother, it hits you different, it make you realize, like, damn, shit, a motherfucker can really get touched at any second, so it make you want to change the shit you do.
Alright, so it made you want to basically do something better, you could say.
Yeah.
Alright. So you just came back from prison, you know?
Yeah.
So like, can you speak on what you got charged for?
Oh yeah.
Alright.
At first, I was already on papers, on probation. Then I caught a weak ass aggravated kidnapping. That was some gay shit. That wasn't what it sounded like though. That was some fluky shit. But what they sent me to the joint for, what I ended up doing time for was a pipe case. I had caught a pipe case and shit. They ended up issuing me one for a little simple pipe case. Long story short, my mama got into it with this goof ass nigga over a parking spot. Long story short, a couple hours later, I run into dude. We had words or whatever. Some way, somehow, police get involved. I pull up to the crib, park the car 12, get on me and shit. I get away though. I was cool for a little minute. Like, even when I went down to Arizona, I was down there with Billy and y'all was watching that shit. The whole time I had a warrant, I didn't even know those. Shit. So I was on the run that whole the month of my birthday when I dropped the album. This whole time I'm blazing hot with a warrant, not even knowing. So I was on my way to the studio and shit. I was literally 30 seconds, no more than 45 seconds away from the studio, and I got pulled over and found out I had a warrant.
So like, you still on probation right now?
No, I'm on parole now. I was on probation when I called the case.
Okay.
They gave me $15,000 bond. My bond was $150,000 deep for the gun case, but I was still on a $15,000 bond for the kidnapping, so they took that bond, and then I still had the probation case that was open. They took that bond, and then I was fighting a weed case in Wyoming, so I was still on bond for that. So they snatched all them bonds up, so I only had a bond for the pipe case. So I went up for 5 different bonds for the gun case. They denied my bond every time. Damn. They didn't want to give me no bond. I tried to get them people $40,000 3 times. Then my best friend, he came with 60 extra last time with 2 exploits there. We tried to give him 100, they turned that shit down. They wasn't going. So I ended up doing, they gave me 4 years for the pipe case. At that time I had like 13 and a half months in. So I'm like, fuck it, I only had like 10 months and some change left. So I just copied out, took 4, I only had a couple months left to do anyway.
Shit. So how was that recent bid you just did then?
See, this ain't my first bid, but this is probably like, it was my toughest and smoothest bid because I didn't get bids to where no bap, I ain't had not a dollar on the phone. Like, I called real quick, like, hey, did y'all talk to the lawyer? And hang up. Like, I had no lawyers. I'm fighting every case with a public defender. I didn't even have money on my books. Like, I'll go to store, man, bag come up, make number to package all the renters in there. So this bid, I ain't missed store but like a couple times. That was probably on my own mistake. There was never no money issue, but I went to store there every time. So that was smooth. I could talk, be on the phone, but I have more going on for myself now. I ain't had shit going on then. So I lost more than I fucking gained. In reality, I lost a lot of shit. I got my mental and shit right now, all that shit, but I lost a lot of shit. I lost my old Instagram, I lost my YouTube page, I lost a lot of shit. So this recent bit kind of hit me a little harder, but I feel like, it's gonna be a better comeback though. So
minus setbacks,
For sure.
Alright, so like, I'm gonna kind of move this along. So like, after doing some research, right? I heard you say people from the burbs will do something and they'll go back to making money, but people from the trenches will do something and go back to the block. So like, can you really like explain that?
Alright, that's what I mean. Alright. It's killers everywhere. I'm from the city and I be in the burbs heavy, but I know killers from everywhere though. I know niggas that was born strictly in the burbs that got no ties to no blocks in the city.
Okay.
But they spank ass and they got shit under their belt. But the difference is you wouldn't know, or they not broadcasting, they not in jail, or a motherfucker ain't retaliating and did nothing to them because they ain't gonna be stupid. They ain't out here trying to prove a point. They know what they do, but a motherfucker not out here gonna put themselves in harm's way to be cool and look cool. A motherfucker clap one of their ops for lacking on the block and then turn around and go do the same shit how you just caught him. Like, you just caught him lacking on the block, you gonna pull up and go stand on your block and do the same shit. So it's that, you feel me? It's a different mindset, It's different, niggas got different shit to prove, you feel me? Niggas feel like if they from Chicago, they got something else to prove besides get some money and take care of their family. So niggas be having a different mindset, That's all. It's just the mindset different from niggas that's that way and niggas from that way. And 90% of the niggas that's really in the street and from the trenches, they not staying in the fucking trenches. They staying in the white parts or they staying in the burbs.
Yeah.
It's just a different mindset.
Different mindsets. Okay, that makes sense. So how did you get into the streets?
Okay. As far as like war and beef, that shit didn't start till I got 12, going on 13 in 2012, like when the war really kicked off. But as far as just being in the street, doing shit, little robberies, playing with guns, I was doing that shit at 9. My rap sheet started back when I was 9 years old. For robberies, home invasions, I was doing shit with my cousin since 9 years old. Like, I was always doing shit like that. That was normal for me to be robbing motherfuckers and shit like that. Was just always normal. That was just something I did. Play with guns, like I was just always, my mama was a bad child. I was always in the streets. I was just Curious George. That's what she called me. So I always did shit. So I was always in the streets. Like, that was just mandatory for me. I didn't mind getting the ass whooping. I didn't mind punishment. I accepted my consequence. That was one thing about me. I didn't care about the consequence. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do. I always accepted my consequence. So the streets was always in front of me. That shit in my blood. My daddy's a real gangster. My pops a real gangster. That shit run. My grandma was a real gangster. Like, that shit running my blood. So the streets was just always in front of me, you know. That's all.
So it's just what you knew.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, my mom never, don't get me wrong, my pops and my mom always try to tell you better, but you know, you're gonna do what the fuck you wanna do anyway. And the more, me personally, I can say, the more, when it comes to shit that intrigue me, the more you tell me, oh man, don't go pick up guns, and guns intrigue me, I'm finna go pick up one. Now, it just intrigues me more. I'm gonna take the experience and the shit you telling me, and I'm gonna just move different, but that ain't gonna stop me. I'm finna go pick the gun up as soon as we done talking. That's just all it was with me.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Alright, so, I heard, like, in the interview, right, you said like your mom was a drug dealer. Like, can you elaborate on that background and history?
Alright. Okay. And it's funny. I'm glad you asked that. This is why I go back to say, a lot of niggas be claiming hood, they don't really know. If you really know, like, when niggas be saying they 600 and all that shit, I lived there. My family went to Betsy Ross, the elementary school on Michigan in 600, where they shoot all them interviews out on the stairs. I actually did that. And if you know your history, my mama had the biggest sea lion over there. Damn. The biggest icy cup and sea lion over there. For a fact. For a fact. When my mama used to help me with my homework, I was doing fractions one day, I would never forget it. And this is how I knew my mama was a real gangster. I was doing my homework and she could not help me at all. She could not understand the way the teachers was teaching us how to do this shit. And the only way she was able to help me, that lady sat there and put in her head and took them fractions and broke them down to 8 balls. And that's how she helped me with my homework.
Shit. Man, that's a great story.
Yeah.
Alright, man. So getting back into like the music, I heard you say you was into battle rap. So like how was that experience just battle rapping? You know?
I ain't gonna lie, that I feel like battle rap really shows your skill. See, but the thing is, I noticed is some battle rappers that can't rap on beat for real and step out of their battle rap form and just go rap and then jump. When they hop on beats, some of that shit be nice, but then they still be in their battle rap form and they rapping like they still on stage.
Okay.
And see, with me it was just like, with me and my brother, we wanted to check out your wordplay. That was just seeing if you really got it. Like if you can really come off the top of the dome with this shit, or if you really, you know, that's just really what it was about. Battle rap is it's a way to pass time too. And I did a lot of time in jail too, so I did a lot of that shit on the cells and shit like that. So that shit was like kind of getting normal for me. That shit like, if you're an artist or you like music, I feel like battle rap is the first step to go to listen to music and just catch your vibe. I feel like that's the first step to like, if you're gonna fuck with music, I feel like that's the first step to go. I feel like everybody should go check out battle rap before they just jump into making music. I feel like that's the first step.
Okay. I feel you on that.